On the rainiest day of July, Celeste de Winter is in her warren, combing her fur in a frustrated tizzy. "My God, Celeste, would you get a grip? What on earth's all the drama about?" Celeste's mother and father are juggling 3 younger kids, cooking freshly harvested carrots and lettuce, replastering the walls in the lounge, and planning their latest holiday to Bunny Dorm, all at the same time. On top of all that, they're filming every moment for the channel on Lot Flops, which boasts over an incredible 1 million subscribers. Most of them cousins. Screamed Celeste as tears streamed down her round bunny cheeks. "Mum, the problems at the stupid heat-activated fear-smoothing spray Dad got doesn't work. It says it's got luxurious follicle reprogramming technology, but it's busted. I can't get my fur sorted in the forest school discos in like 5 hours. I need to get my fur nice and no one will want to be seen with me. I look cringe." "Oh dear," sighed Mrs. De Winter as she flashed a fake smile for a selfie in front of the only clean part of the kitchen, which just happened to be the kitchen table. Celeste had always found this funny, since the only reason it stayed clean was because no one ever used it. "Just pop a hat on, babe, saves the faff about, doesn't it?" Celeste jerked and tugged at her fur again, shrieking as a knot the literal size of Bigfoot's belly button ripped away from her scalp with a crunch and staggered away, cackling. "Ouch! Mum, we're not allowed them at school," she whined through gritted teeth. Mrs. De Winter stopped what she was doing and flung her mobile to the kitchen counter without care, not bothering to hide how cross she was that her photo op had been ruined. She cocked an eyebrow at Mr. De Winter, who was running a paint roller up the wall with one hand, burping one of the kits with the other, and stirring the boiling pot of carrots and lettuce with his right foot. She crossed her arms and thumped her foot at him, but he deliberately pretended not to notice. Celeste's mother rolled her eyes and let out the longest, most frustrated sigh she could muster before reaching again for her phone. "Oh, and I suppose it'll be up to me to handle everything as usual round here. Angora, ring Mum." "Ringing Artemis Mummykins," responded Angora, the little black floppy-eared AI bought by the microwave, and the phone began to ring. Celeste's ears instantly perked up. "Nana!" she cried with delight. Celeste and her Nana had a special bond with each other. Whenever Celeste walked from her warren in Watermead Woods to visit her at the allotments at nearby Birstall Village, they always shared the craziest adventures. "Hello!" came the jolly, powerful, and only very slightly ancient voice of Nana Artemis through the speaker. "Hot yet, Mum," said Mrs. De Winter. "Listen, I've got a fair crisis over here and so much on. Is it all right if Les comes round for a bit? She's all in a muddle over the school play tonight." "Disco, Mum? It's the school disco," Celeste muttered. Nana, I'm coming to see you." "I will heat the oven. We shall bake some cookies," came the sing-song voice of her Nana back through the phone. "Yay, love you, Nan. See you soon." Celeste was out the front door in a flash, leaving the domestic madness of her warren behind, and stepping out into the peaceful lull of summer rain. As the robins and other birds in the woods chirped away, and the low but comforting buzz of the neighborhood bumblebees filled her long, frazzled ears, Celeste had almost forgotten her worries over her bad fur day. She was recalling all the fun and wacky things her Nana did. She was certifiably nuts. There was no doubt about that. Bonkers. She remembered the time they went to play dress-up in the charity shops in Birstall Village. Aside from being walking and talking rabbits, they tried on the clothes that people were already wearing and caused a huge fuss in all the shops. Another time they went to the skate park, and Nana won a freestyle skateboarding competition against Tony Squawk himself, and even made him cry. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compared with the time that they took a day trip to Leicester to watch the soccer, and they won the Premiership Cup at 3,000 to 1 odds. All because Nana painted herself up like a soccer ball and ran right into the goal box. When Celeste arrived at Nana's warren, the smells of spiced chai tea and carrot soup were everywhere. Yum! Well, hello, Celeste. Your mum said that you have a play on tonight. Is that right, dear? Asked Nana as her granddaughter entered the room. Celeste frowned. Nana, it's not a play, it's a school disco, I keep telling her. The way she goes on about things all the time's proper cringe, especially when it's the wrong things. Nana gave her a big hug. Her blouse smelled of lavender perfume and felt so good to snuggle into. Well, Mum's always been a busy one and very easily distracted, but she's always telling me how proud she is of her little bunnies. Now then, a school disco. I bet you're so excited. No, I hate it. I'm not going. Celeste crossed her arms, hopped across the lounge, and plopped into the biggest armchair Nana had, which was so big it felt like you would need full climbing gear and radio just to get from one end to the other. Nana turned in astonishment and hopped to her granddaughter's side. Celeste, darling, why ever not? I used to love my school discos. The music, the snacks, the boy bunnies. She nudged Celeste with her elbow and winked at her, and her granddaughter's round bunny cheeks turned bright pink. Nana, stop that. I don't like boy bunnies. They're full of bogies. Nana wrinkled her nose and gave her a nod. Yes, quite right. Well, I bet all your friends will be there. Are you all ready to set off later? Your shiny blue party dress looks lovely. Celeste managed to smile. Thanks, Nan. But I can't get me fur right. It's all matted and floofy flopped. It looks ugly. Nana leaned in so close that her nose was right in Celeste's fur. Let me inspect. Yes, I'm afraid it's quite hopeless. The young rabbit's face fell into a look of horror. Hopeless? She pouted. Nana's face was grim. Completely and utterly hopeless. I've come across this before. You've got a severe case of the nervous ninnies. Celeste smiled again. Nan, that's not a thing. Nana Artemis shook her head. Oh, it's quite real. You get the nervous ninnies, and suddenly you don't think anything about yourself is quite right. Whenever I get them, my hair looks a mess no matter what I do with it. I see my eyes in the mirror, and they look huge and googly. My ears don't want to stay straight. My glasses want to stay crooked. And I feel like my tummy is bloated and misshapen. At hearing this, Celeste began to feel upset. Nan, you're beautiful. None of that's true. How sad's that? Nana nodded. Well, I know that. None of it is true. And how people look truly doesn't matter in the end of it all. If I'm not careful, though, sometimes I do think these things are true for a little while, and they do make me feel quite sad. Then I remember that beauty comes in different ways. I'm beautiful the Nana way, and you're beautiful the Celeste way. Have any of the kids at school ever called you ugly? Celeste sniffled. Well, Sophie the Erin was being mean the other day and called me fat because my cheeks are round. She's always horrible to me, and I always try to be nice to her. Nana nodded. Well, that was a bit nasty of her, but also being large doesn't make a person ugly. I've always been a plus-size bunny, and I used to model for Rogue magazine, you know. Yes, your Nana's always been able to turn a few heads and then some. Sophie probably has something difficult going on in her life, darling, and she took it out on you. I wouldn't argue or let anyone see you getting upset next time, darling, if you can help it. You can just say, I'm happy as I am, thank you, and walk away. Just focus on yourself and how much fun you're going to have tonight. Celeste scratched her chin a moment. Nana, you said it was hopeless because I've got the nervous ninnies. What can I do? Nana nodded. There's only one cure for the ninnies, my dear. It's not an easy one either. Are you sure you want to hear of it? Celeste felt like she was going to burst. Yes, Nan, yes, I'm ready. What do I have to do? Nana cracked her knuckles, did a backflip into the air, and landed on one toe. Right. Well, first, you must stick out your tongue as far as you can and try and touch it to the tip of your nose. As far as you can now. Make every effort. Like this. Celeste erupted into a fit of giggles as she tried to copy her grandmother. As far as you can now, and make sure you pull your ears down around your chin when you do it. Like so. Celeste copied her Nana again, erupting into laughter and nearly falling on the floor. Lastly, you must shake your knees and rise and fall to the ground when you do it. Up, down, spit spot, ninny shake! The two rabbits twitched and flopped around the warren, making the most ridiculous faces and noises for a good 5 minutes before collapsing and panting in a heap of laughter. Nana Artemis turned and patted Celeste on the shoulder. Now then, let's get you spruced up and get your fur all nice and tidy. We will style your fur to make you feel wonderful, not to impress other people. How does that sound, my lovely? Celeste wiped her tears away, and they baked cookies, drank chai, and chatted about their next big adventure while Nana brushed and combed her fur. That night, the forest school disco was wonderful. All Celeste's friends complimented her on her dress and smooth, shiny fur. During the first song, Celeste saw Sophie the heron standing in a corner by herself, looking sad and lonely. Streams of tears ran down her face, and she was wearing her usual red and white checked school uniform. She worked up her nerve, poured 2 glasses of apple punch, and approached the little grey heron. "You right, Sophie?" Sophie turned her long beak away, trying to hide her tears. "I'm all good, mate. Do one." Celeste frowned. "If I do that, nothing'll get fixed, and you'll be stood here alone all night. Do you want that?" The heron turned to the rabbit and looked at her a moment before replying. "Me dad forgot to get me a dress for the disco because he's got too much work to do. Now nobody's going to dance with me." Celeste handed her a cup of apple punch. "Come on, sulking in the corner's no good. I'll have a dance with you. I bet with your beautiful long legs you can do some great moves. Come on." Sophie gave her a shocked look. She was completely speechless at how nicely Celeste was treating her, even though she had never treated Celeste nicely herself. Eventually, she smiled and nodded her head, without saying a word. Out on the dance floor, the rabbit and heron certainly turned a few heads, and it wasn't long before the whole school was dancing through the night. Nana was standing by the doorway with Celeste's mum, who Celeste hadn't noticed turned up to help put the chairs and tables away at the end and keep an eye on her daughter. "Isn't she a beauty, Mel? She's the spit of you," said Nana to Mrs. De Winter. "She gets it from you, Mum." "Shall we go have a boogie ourselves, then?" said Nana. "You can let me embarrass you in front of the whole school, just like when you were a young bunny," said Nana. The two of them danced their way right into the middle of the crowd. When Celeste noticed them, she was absolutely horrified as they whooped and hollered, dancing along to her music, and getting all the other parents and even the head teacher to come and join in. Cringe!